My wife and I are doing a 72-hour fast, and I don't know if I'm going to make it. She is pretty strong, pretty disciplined, and I just got into talking about kind of what we are going live with today, which one of them is Sunny Sky Pies, and a proposed repair shop is taking over a location in kind of Midtown, Fort Collins, downtown-ish, CSU campus adjacent. But man, wish me luck over these next 24 hours. I'm over halfway through I'm through, what am I, like 45, 46 hours or so. So still got a bit to go, but, the proposed, pie and bike shop or repair shop is going to be off of Elizabeth and Wedby. I'm going to show you guys my screen here. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you can go watch our YouTube channel, Fort Collins Lifestyles, and it'll show kind of the visuals for this. But this is right by Harris Elementary School. I've personally never even thought this was in business still, but apparently it is. But it's going to be a co-tenanted space with a repair shop and a pie shop, which I was like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But this is live in Fort Collins. We come to you live every week. And actually, we're going live again here in about a couple of hours to do our Fort Collins real estate market update. We're looking at numbers from November and into December and looking at what 2026 could look like, because, the real estate market is a little paused during these holidays. Not to say that nothing's happening, just not too much. But moving right along, the Poudre School District is proposing a later school year start, pushing it back around 6 days or so to August 19th, because while we did raise some funds with our debt-free school mill levy, I think that was like 40 mills. That doesn't sound right. It was enough to create millions and millions of dollars to help teacher pay, refurbishing schools for air conditioning units. And they're going to do 2 per year every summer until they're all done. And there's 30 of them done. So it's going to be about 15 more years. Around 2043 is when all schools will be outfitted with AC units. And I can tell you, it does get hot. So pushing it back 6 days, and this would be for the school year starting 26, 27. So not this year, obviously, but moving into next year. So it could be as soon as next year that school doesn't start until August 19th, which for me, makes sense. Honestly, I used to, Labor Day weekend, it was always kind of a weird thing starting that late and then having a holiday right away. But regardless, watching out for the kids, not overheating, not playing, because it can get hot and stuffy in those buildings. The Colorado Parks and Wildlife Director steps down and moves into a new role. I don't know where I stand even on the reintroduction to wolves into Colorado, but I can say, there's always an article about, up in kind of Walden, that county out up there that, ranchers are having to bring in dogs to protect their livestock, and the state of Colorado is having to repay these ranchers for livestock that they've lost due to the wolves. And it just seems like it's an absolute, sorry for this word, shit show. And I do believe there was some wolves that were already kind of coming into the area from Yellowstone and making their way down here. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm sure obviously because of the growth and hunting and things of that nature, we push wolves out of Colorado, and this could be a natural habitat for them. And so we want to provide that land, but, at what cost? And I just don't think, it's too big of a deal that it's clearly causing a lot of strife within the Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and that director stepping down. So good luck to whoever steps into that role. Let's see here. It will be Laura Clellan, and she's actually retired General of Colorado, but she will serve as the acting director starting yesterday. Northern Colorado nonprofit, we have a shortfall on bikes, and as up till tomorrow, you can bring in new bikes to Realities for Children up through tomorrow. Now, they try to bring in around 360 bikes, but there was 150 shortfall as of November 25th. A lot of these could be reused, recycled bikes, but what they are asking for now after November 29th is for the bikes to be new bikes. I'm guessing they probably had to do some repairs, some work on those bikes that were used, so they were well suited for those kids that didn't necessarily have them and being able to use them moving into the new year. Colorado's minimum wage is increasing in 2026 to $15.16 per hour starting January 1st, 2026. And that's a 2.4% increase tied to the CPI. Tipped wages will increase to $12.14 per hour. I don't have a dog in the fight here. I do remember when I was going through high school and college making $7 an hour, but that was a while ago now. So, being at $15 per hour, I know a lot of people are suggesting, on one side or the other, whether that should be higher or stay right around there or even lower. And if it's impacting people getting jobs, I will say it's an interesting conversation, and I'm going to hit on this a little bit in the market update as well, that I've got a buddy. There was an article that came out that was talking about how high school and college kids are actually super excited about the job market that they're moving into. And there was another phrase out there that said that the artificial intelligence, AI, will create more millionaires in the next 5 years than the internet did in 20 years. And I've got kind of a case study to show that a friend of mine and client actually, now this kid got after it and was always going to be successful no matter what. Just, was flipping vans throughout high school, bought his first house when he was in college, still owns that house today, moved to the Texas area and has 2 businesses that are extremely successful. And a lot of it's leveraging AI and tools like that. So I do believe, and I actually think that my generation, which is, 30 to 50 year olds, are at risk the most with artificial intelligence. So I'm putting myself right in the crosshair here because it's tough. We didn't grow up with artificial intelligence. I'm leveraging it on a daily basis. We summarize articles, write emails, lots of different tools, and I'm just scratching the surface. Whereas there are kids that are growing up knowing how to integrate it with websites, how to automate ordering systems, how to look for, call, buy, sell orders, and leverage these tools much deeper than what I'm doing. And it'll just be second nature to them. Whereas if I want to get involved with, some of this new career activity, like let's say real estate agents go bye-bye, and that's possible, or lenders or title, and, or the industry goes from 1.5 million agents to 500,000 agents or 400,000 agents, because now the power of one agent can do the job of 3 that it used to. And those are all great and tools that I'm excited to leverage and be a part of and grow and learn. But it is scary. Like, let's say it goes away completely, because then maybe I have to start over in a new career, what AI produces or creates at a minimum wage or something along those lines, But all that being said, I do believe that the younger generation's excited for the world jobs moving forward and are going to leverage some of those opportunities more so than what my generation will. Let's see here. The Siphon Overpass is opening this Friday, December 5th. And this is a multi-million-dollar overpass connecting Mail Creek Trail to the Power Trail, going over the Union Pacific Railroad. A part of me is like, it's gorgeous. It's safe. But could we have used these $1 million elsewhere? Yes. I don't know the legality of crossing over a railroad. I will say I've crossed over that railroad many times, because I actually lived over in West Chase for a few years, and we'd cross through Linden Park, that neighborhood, and then walk over the railroad tracks to get onto the Power Trail and then go north. In fact, I think I even have a picture of my brother-in-law and wife wife, not at the time. She was wife at the time, divorced. Now she's my wife again. So anyways, but I have a picture of that And so do we need a multi-million-dollar overpass? Probably not. Did Union Pacific probably have some legal, is it illegal to cross over railroad tracks? I think so. And so I think there's some reasons why we had to do it, because it was so heavily crossed. And it is gorgeous. It is safe, ADA accessible. So super cool. That opens up this Friday. So the weather has come in a little bit colder, but we're going to look in the 40s, low 50s. So it could be a really great day to get on your bike and ride over that overpass connecting to the Mail Creek Trail. The thumbnail for this video is a thumbnail that talks about the growth of the Northeast Quadrant. And that was because the Building and Permit, Planning and Zoning had a meeting about Saunders Village, which you could say is Saunders East, kind of on the opposite side of Turnberry on the northeast side of Fort Collins, where Water's Edge, Saunders currently is. But this is their second, part of their development, which is going to be 680 additional residential units out there. And that's on top of Montava's 4,300 residential units that they are seriously breaking ground and going vertical on in 2026. And Bloom, which is already vertical and delivering units that will have about 1,700 units. So totaling around 6,700 units in that Northeast Quadrant. For perspective's sakes, as of 2021, there was about 72,000 housing units in all of Fort Collins. So this equates to about 10% of the housing stock that's in these three developments alone in this quadrant. So lots of growth in that Northeast Quadrant. You're going to see a lot of infrastructure changes. Turnberry, Mountain Vista, Timberline. There are going to be a ton of infrastructure developments and changes in that area. But what can you do this weekend? Well, one, we did end up getting our first snow frost. I'm interested to know if it counted as our first snow. It did have a small layer in Fort Collins. I know we were kind of approaching that mid-December timeline of latest snow on record. So I think we didn't beat that record, which is probably a good record not to beat. But it was cold, down in the teens, low 20s, and I was not ready for it. I was freezing cold. So it is jacket, parka, Patagonia, whatever you wear to keep yourself warm time. But Santa photos every day until December 24th at the Foothills Mall, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And you can also go take pictures downtown, Old Town. I think they're mostly there on the weekends. The Nutcracker, December 4th through the 7th at Lincoln Center. I believe there are still tickets. So if that is something that is interesting to you, get your tickets and go support the Lincoln Center. Lincoln Center is a child of the Community Capital Improvement Project. What we just passed on November 4th, the $0.25 sales tax to help build these wonderful facilities and venues. And the Lincoln Center is one of them. If you haven't been, go enjoy a comedy show. We went and saw Damon Wayans earlier this year there. There is music, plays, comedy. It is a great venue in Fort Collins. The First Friday Art Walk, every first Friday of the month, December 5th, downtown, 6 to 9 p.m. Sweaty Sweater 5K run and walk, December 6th, 9 a.m. at Front Range Community College. Winter's Farmers Market every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Foothills Mall. The Toy Drop 5K, 10K, and 15K presented by Sweetheart City Racing in Berthoud, Colorado, December 6th, 9 a.m. Berthoud Brewing Company. A holiday festival in Timnath, Colorado, this December 6th, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. At Timnath Community Park. The Winter Wake Up Polar Plunge in Riverside, Colorado, near Mishawaka, December 7th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are a couple other things that are going on there, but the big one is the Winter Polar Plunge. And finally, the Wellington Parade of Lights this December 6th at 5:30 p.m. That is it for Live in Fort Collins. Appreciate you guys listening on the podcast, which is Living in Fort Collins, the podcast. I am going to ask again, if you are watching, listening, let me know some people who we should have on an in-person interviews, which we will begin again in 2026. Until that time, appreciate you guys watching, listening. Have a great day.